Perfect. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. I'm going to give it a quick second to alert folks that we're on here. It also gives me a minute to be able to share it out since apparently I'm not that tech savvy as I claim to be. Excellent. As you're hopping on here, just give us a thumbs up. Let us know you can see us and hear us fine, so we can go ahead and get started. Terrific. It looks like we have Counselor Scully with us. Good morning to you, Counselor. We're going to go ahead and get started. And as those of you are hopping on here with us, be sure to give us a thumbs up and give us a comment as well. Sometimes we won't see who you are that's watching with us without you actually commenting. So it's not just because I like flattery. I also use it as a way to figure out who's on here with us. So I will go ahead and get started with the basics. You all are aware, if this is your first time on here, then you need to hit that like button, the notification button as well, so you can get those timely alerts when we do go live or post content. If you are coming back to us, then welcome back. Thank you for tuning in with us for as long as you have been. We've had these videos going since March, and they're available all in the video section of the Facebook page for you to just binge watch throughout the week or on the weekend, or just catch up if you miss one at any point in time. I am your host, Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and today's broadcast is really focused on our business success series. So we started these a little over 2 weeks ago and are able to highlight a few different industries, how they've adapted to COVID, what they've done to prepare their staff, their customers, their guests, in addition to their vendors, to make sure that their health, well-being, and safety are the #1 priority. So we've had with us our retailer. We also had restaurants. We've highlighted breweries and some other elements like that. If you are in this industry and you benefit from what you hear, be sure to let us know. If you know somebody that's in a similar industry or in hospitality and would benefit from the content that we share, please share this video and forward it on to them so that they can get as much resources and education on hand as possible. That's what we like to do. So today with me, I have the Doubletree here in Westminster, Colorado. And with us, we have two guests. We have their general manager, Angie, and we also have their director of sales, Deandra. I'll have both of them introduce themselves and kind of their role and then get started. But before I turn it over to them, if you've never commented before, you just use the comment section of this video. I will pull up your name as I have done with Counselor Scully and be able to reference it as well. Questions we will take up during the broadcast. We'll wait until the end to actually address those questions for you. So if you have comments or questions, type them into the comment section of this video so we can get to it at the end of this broadcast. Let us know if you're live with us so we can make sure that we give you the shout outs and the kudos that you deserve for hopping on and spending the morning. Counselor Seymour, thank you for coming on with us. Muting myself, it's all yours, Angie and Deandra.
All right. So we'll get started. We're just, again, so happy. We were one of the fortunate hotels that never closed. So we kept going, although we were at a low occupancy, the doors stayed open. Again, we were one of the fortunate hotels here in Westminster. We were able to keep the doors open.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to see comeback now. I'm Angie. I'm the general manager. Our weekends are really picking up, and we feel like the governor's done a really good job of reopening the state in phases, and it's helped us a lot more. And now we've got the mandatory masks. So far, so good with that. We haven't had too much feedback, but we're staying safe. We're keeping our guests safe. We have kits for sale for $5 in our market if they don't have a mask. It comes with a mask, gloves, hand sanitizer, and that's gone off really well. We take all of our employees' temperatures when they come in the morning to make sure everybody's healthy before they start to work. And of course, we provide them with all the PPE equipment that they need. But we definitely feel we're starting to see the comeback now. Our weekends are picking up 70% this past weekend, which was great. They're spending money in our restaurant. They're spending money in the bar. We don't have chairs at the bar right now, but you can get a cocktail and sit somewhere else, social distancing, of course. We have signage everywhere, and I feel like we're seeing a comeback. What'd you say?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Hilton came out with a Hilton Clean Ready program, which was brought out in June, and then we implemented it in July. They sent us all the information, the decals, the door hangers that's taped up, which allows the guest the satisfaction of knowing nobody was in their room because it's a tape. There's 10 touch points that we have in the guest rooms that the housekeeper and the housekeeping manager assures that those 10 touch points, let's just say a remote control, a light in the room, refrigerator knobs, so things of that nature. We're making sure that those are taken care of. We're also started the Hilton Event Ready program. So not only does it take place in the guest rooms, it also takes place in the meeting space as well. So prior to having a meeting here, we have to send the planner a checklist, and it's there's 16 things on there, and it's again the same touch point. When you came into the meeting room, did it have a tag on it? When you entered the meeting, just different protocols that now we are having to do a little bit different. Doubletree, we used to have a buffet here at the hotel, which we're providing plated breakfast, which, again, it gives, since we're in the hospitality business, it gives us a chance for that one-on-one connection with the guests when they're entering the restaurant. Kind of what Angie said, when they come to the front desk to check in, we have, the shield between us two. And again, it's just the communication. Doubletree's big on the cookie, so we're happy to welcome the cookie back to the guests, because guests were wondering, where's my cookie at? And that was one of the things that we couldn't offer at that time, just because of with COVID. And now we're able to offer the cookie again. So just different things. However, I feel like we've overcame them, and I feel protected. We're required to wear masks, although we're in my office right now, but we are required to wear masks. Again, like what Angie said, our temperature is taken prior to starting our day, and even the interaction with our associates within the break room, 6 feet distancing, chiming it at different times for their lunchtime. So it definitely is different. I feel like we've acclimated to it. Mm-hmm. And we're ready. I know the associates are ready. It's awesome to see, the associates come back to work and, be happy and enthused. But, it's good. I feel like it's a good feeling. And I feel like our leisure group is kind of where it's going to be at right now. I know we still have some wedding blocks and church groups and things of that nature. So I feel positive thoughts.
Awesome. So I was trying to capture a lot of what you were sharing, Deandra. I was listening to you and multitasking. For those of you that have hopped on here with us, we have Doubletree here in Westminster, both their general manager and their director of sales, Angie and Deandra, both of which have shared with us a little bit of information on kind of what's transpired during the time that COVID unfolded. Quick shout out to Parker Brown and a few other folks that have come here with us this morning. I've included a few of the key comments into this comment section of this broadcast, so you can feel free to peruse back and check. Now, since you all only took a few minutes, this is the fun part. I get to pick apart everything that you've shared and have you expand on it for me. So I always like to quantify things for people. And sometimes we are guilty of this as a chamber, and I know numerous other businesses are as well. When we start explaining things, we're like, oh, it's a little bit slower here, picked up there. Nobody really knows what our average is or what we do, right? In reality, nobody knows that we have 200 programs and events. So when I say slower, they're like, okay, well, what does that mean? Sure. In comparison to what percentage of that? So we talked initially about how your hotel was one of the few that actually continued to do business even during this time. Granted, it was slower, but you did not close up. And there are numerous that did. There were some extended stays that closed in the area. And then there were some that were down in Denver, some of your larger convention spaces that are still closed until the September time period. So kudos to the team at Doubletree for keeping it as together as possible, given the environment that you're in. But can you share with us, and you don't have to tell me, we usually have 100 different rooms that are available, and this is the drop, but overall, what percentage did that look like, whether it's occupancy rates that you want to share, or how many of, compared to normal, what was the decline?
Sure, I'm happy to share occupancy. Let's just compare this time last year. I would say our average was, we were selling out on a daily basis, especially any day in July. This year, we are happy to get a 50% occupancy. I can remember when we just started, we were shooting for 10, and then our next step was to shoot for 20% occupancy. And now we're averaging about 50% occupancy, which is great.
Excellent, thank you. And it looks like we have a comment from Counselor Seymour. He has personally been traveling. I know this because I was text harassing him the other day when he wasn't at a specific meeting that he's always at. And he's like, oh, I'm over here. And I was like, oh, well, stop picking up the phone and answering me. But apparently during this travel experience, he's also noticed that a lot of people are flying, they're driving, they're traveling. It's starting to pick up. So way to go to Doubletree for keeping the economy moving forward by staying open and by trying to do your part into this. We also have a comment that comes to us from Brian Dice. Brian sharing, Doubletree has been a chamber member for several years. Glad to hear you guys have kept your doors open and are doing well in spite of current circumstances. And Brian is our board chair right now, so I know he's always been supportive of your team and your brand, as have I been. So Angie is a return back to the hotel. Super excited to see her back, especially because she was there around the time that I was looking to get started with Westminster Chamber. And so our paths overlapped for such a brief period of time. So excited to have you back. So good morning to you, Marquez. Thank you for tuning in with us. He is asking, so how will corporate non-travel affect you? So obviously the travel right now that's going on is more of that essential. People are not necessarily choosing to fly on a plane or go out of their way unless there is that compelling reason for them to do so. So outside of that compelling reason, how do you feel that the personal side will affect your line of work?
I'll let you take that one. Sales.
Well, I feel like, the corporate market is a big market here. So yeah, it's definitely affecting us. But you kind of got to go where it's doing well, which is the leisure market. So that's kind of how I see it. One, I guess con versus another pro. So we just take that leisure market and we kind of go with that right now, since the corporate market it's just not going anywhere at this point. I've reached out to several of my corporations, which are large corporations, in the Westmore area, and travel is just not happening right now, unfortunately. Even for myself, I'm not able to travel as well. So I feel like, right now it's the leisure market is kind of, the weddings, the church groups, is kind of what we're going after right now.
We're replacing our corporate travel with that right now.
Correct.
We can't wait for the corporate travel to come back though.
And that is thank you for leading with that, especially at the start, Deandra, and then Angie for you wrapping that. A lot of what we're seeing in our hotels generally, we get a lot of those corporate, and so we rely on a lot of that, and so having to kind of circumvent that or look at offsetting it's almost a little bit different because our bulk of revenue comes from them. So that's good to know. I know that the industry as a whole is still trying to make sure that you have the ability to host events and meetings, and that's been a little bit of a handcuff to you all, since you're not able to have any larger than a specific number of people at your hotel, which discourages any large group, or honestly any medium-sized group, because my understanding of it is that it's still in the the 2-digit figures. So hopefully that'll transition back on those. Conferences are a huge part, especially during this time period. So around this time, for a lot of people that don't know, your hotel is the recipient of a lot of tournaments or various groups that come into town. These are sporting groups, sometimes it's youth groups, soccer clubs, to softball and more. And I know that has been put on a pause as well as it relates to using your facility space. So great question, Marquess. One of the things that you mentioned earlier, Deandra, related to the Hilton brand. So people sometimes don't realize how hotels are structured. So can we talk a little bit about, what is the relationship between the Doubletree and Hilton? And then maybe go in a little bit detail about, what their program looks like that they have unfolded in June and that you have started to implement more fully here in July.
Sure. So Hilton is, the umbrella company would be Doubletree. Hilton has several different brands, and we're the Doubletree by Hilton is one of them. We were rebranded in around 2005. It became Doubletree. Hilton decided to rebrand the Doubletree, and it allowed everyone to know that we're affiliated. Sorry. And so with the clean stay project, we have the shields placed in every area at the front desk in the restaurant. For the fitness center, we are only allowing up to 2 to 3. They have to sign up at the front desk. As soon as they exit the fitness center, we are having housekeeping go up there and sanitize everything in the fitness area. And then at the front desk there, it's on their sheet. They have to go through the protocols as far as wiping everything down every 30 minutes. Housekeeping, every department takes place in this Clean Stay Ready program. So it's not just one particular department. It's actually, we're all in this as a team.
And I'll add something to that. So Hilton partnered with Lysol to come up with this Clean Stay program. And the Lysol, so everything we have here is branded Lysol. We have the wipes, we have the hand sanitizers that are throughout the hotel. And the front desk has access to all that as well. So it's a really good program. The hotel smells fresh and clean. You can tell when you walk in. But yeah, it's a great partnership that Hilton did with Lysol, and it is it's worked out really well. We haven't had any feedback or bad feedback yet about it. It's been very positive.
I think that's terrific. And, I loved when you shared, Angie, earlier on that even in the store, you have those masks and hand sanitizers and small things like that guests can invest in if they forgot it or didn't bring it with them or lost it or whatever reason. I think that is being proactive and trying to educate them along the way. We touched a little bit about the pool. So pools are open now inside the hotel, obviously with the maintenance side of it and making sure that you're following those guidelines or precautions that came out. Our restaurant side had been closed briefly. That has reopened. Are you seeing a little bit of public involvement in the restaurant side? I know in the past, generally your restaurant has been leveraged for some of those events, right? So when you look at Mother's Day, Easter, you do various types of community gatherings at your restaurant. In addition to the people that are staying there, they've used it. I know I've personally used it for coming out from the public, but sometimes people just don't think about that they can use that space. How are you seeing the usage right now on the restaurant? Are people still not aware that you all have opened the restaurant side of your hotel?
Well, actually, last night we had a couple that lives down the street, and I found out that they were coming in. They come in once a week for one of our prime ribs that we have that they really like. So no, not prime rib, filet mignon, sorry. But so they are coming. So we do have some people that are starting to come back out, but the restaurant's been doing well in the evening, so that's really good to see.
Yeah, I can't imagine that you all were not giving away your cookies. That wow, I don't know about that. That would have been very hard. So this last part of, you have a couple of things here. There is one that I want to know, if for those of you that are hopping on here with us, a lot of the comments, I've written them into the comment section of this broadcast. If you have questions or comments specifics to the hospitality industry, travel, tourism, or anything that you believe the Doubletree might be able to answer for you, type it into the comment section of this broadcast for us. So this next question that I had, which I almost completely lost, was what does the future look like for you all? I ask this question often, as sometimes certain industries are able to say, here's what it looks like for the next, couple of weeks. Generally, everybody's like, I don't know, it's so unknown. Everything's up in the air. But if we continue on the trajectory of where we are at right now, what would that look like for your hotel or for your industry?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's so unknown. I know what we would like to see, but we just don't know, and it's really a tough question. I get asked that a lot by friends and family that know that I've been in this business for years, and I tell everybody we don't know. We hope to we've steadily inclined, and we want to keep going that direction, but we just don't know. We're staying steady. And then, like I said, the weekends, we're picking up to 75%. So that would be great. I mean, obviously, we'd like to sell out during the week, but if we can continue the path we're on, my best guess would be, maybe second quarter of next year, we see a better comeback. I think a lot of it's just going to depend on what COVID does.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm glad you shared that prediction. Mainly, at one point we had the Hoteliers and Lodgers Association with us, and the Brewers Guild, and at that time they were kind of predicting and saying, what we're doing right now, and this was, when I say maybe about 2 months ago, what we're doing right now affects us into the fall, right? Because what a lot of people don't see is that our hotels, they're so far in advance in planning your revenue and your bookings and everything, that when things are delayed right now, it's not immediately, it's even more, if it's even longer. So it would make sense that you're saying from right now that we're looking into Q2, because we're nearly to the fall. And so that is definitely something to know. Jericho, hello to you as well. Thank you for hopping on here with us. So what can people do in the community right now to support you all? You're obviously not like a restaurant. You're not like a brewery that they can just, pick up to go, or go over there and experience. Granted, they can do that on the restaurant side, but how can they really support you from the hotel side, and from guests arriving and using your space? Is there an opportunity for people to rent out your spaces for select smaller group meetings? Are there things like that you would want to see more of?
Yeah, I mean, it would be great. I mean, this is a great location for a staycation. Again, as soon as you enter the lobby, with the clean lobby, and you have the pool, and knowing the guarantee that your room is a clean, ready room, I would say definitely a staycation. We would love to see you in for breakfast. Our lounge is open. We have a great bartender who makes some great drinks. I mean, even just to come in and get a Doubletree cookie. Let us know, how we are. As long as you're wearing a mask, I think, you're good to come in.
Okay. And so the best way that people can reach out to either of you, is there a website link you want me to type out, an email that's preferred, or a phone number?
Sure, I would say my information. I know, Juliet, you have my information, but definitely email me for any inquiries. Our meeting space is open. We are able to book anything less than 10. We're using our ballroom for the 6 feet distancing. So yeah, definitely reach out to me.
Okay, well, great. So we will pop Deandra's email into the comment section. For now, I've included that you'll have to connect with her for any inquiries and to book anything that's 10 or less. Is there anything else that I have left out that we should shed light on for folks to understand? One of the things, and it's okay if you don't have these data markers on hand. One of the things we always like to share from your lens is you're seeing information from statewide on your hospitality industry, on hotels and how they're faring. What are you hearing overall? Are some, is there a percentage that have been able to recoup, a percentage that have kind of closed? What does the pulse of your industry statewide look like?
Well, I know that the resort style hotels that have the resort properties are doing well. The full or the no, what am I trying to think? Extended stay, they've been doing very well in the industry as a whole. And then you've kind of got we're kind of in the middle. So we're the full service hotel, so we're not the Hampton, which is another Hilton brand, which is a great brand. But here you can sit down at the restaurant, order what you want, and have a drink. So I think industry wide, you've got the big hotels that are doing the best. Airport properties are starting to pick up nationwide as well, and then of course your destination properties are doing very well. And I think we're kind of in the middle.
And that's great to know, segmenting wise for sure. I think again, to classify which hotels are what and how they generally receive their revenue and the types of clients that they get. So we're nearly to our 30-minute mark. This went by really fast. I don't want to close you guys out, so you know that I will touch on a few other things. One is that we will be back here for another broadcast at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Be sure that you all are tuned in. For those of you that end up watching this video on replay, give us that hashtag replay so we know that you enjoyed it and actually watched it all the way through. And if this is content that you find valuable, if you had questions or comments that you didn't get a chance to ask us, please be sure that you comment it. We'll come back to you with an answer at a later point in time. So don't feel like the opportunity has passed. It's always there. You can DM us as well. Our Shop Local Westy Rise program is still going on. That will run until July 31st. As you all are aware, we give out 3 prizes in a week. We've already been able to list a few of those recipients of the prizes. We have a few more that we'll be releasing this week and into next week as well, that I'm a little bit slow on sending you guys photos of who they are and what they won. But for those of you that don't know about this campaign, if you have shopped, done business, invoiced, done any type of interaction with the business, whether it is a non-purchase interaction, you may be eligible to qualify. The full details of the campaign at westminsterchamber.biz, and that's where you'll find the Westy Rise program. It's on the events calendar. There's a rotational banner. There are 3 ways that you can submit. Again, if you've purchased, if you have a receipt for it, if you have an invoice, if you haven't done either or you don't have the funds because you're unemployed, etc., you can still qualify. We just have a little bit of longer steps that you would need to do to show support for those businesses. It is a great contest, Parker. Thank you so much for participating in it. This will run until July 31st. If you don't have access to email, do not be discouraged. Send it to us via social media, DM us your contact, send the receipts. Everyone is an entry into the prizes for the week, and we want to be sure that we're supporting our businesses. So if you do call on Deandra and you book a meeting space for 10 people or less, if you end up going there and using their restaurants, dining there, all of that is eligible and qualifies as an entry for you to win one of the prizes that we have. And they're pretty great bundles. So be sure you enter until July 31st. If you haven't already downloaded the app, it's My Chamber app. You'll find it on iOS and Android. When you do download it, make sure that your location is on. When your location is on and you're in Westminster, it'll actually pull you a listing of the businesses in Westminster that you can go to. It breaks it down for you in terms of a directory. So you can find hotels, you can find restaurants, and other types of local businesses that you can support and then turn around and turn in your receipt. So long-winded, but keep that in mind. Westy Rise Shop Local runs until July 31st. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in with us this morning. Thank you so much to our special guests, both Angie and Deandra, for spending the morning with us, talking about Doubletree, what they've weathered, how they've attempted as best as they can to navigate the uncharted territory. Much success on what you all are doing. I've personally been seeing what you have done, and I know you've staggered various things and have, tried to adapt as best as possible. So it is not unnoticed. We will see you hopefully really soon. So have a terrific day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.